We also need to start taxing the rich and corporations. We need a wealth tax. We need a more steeply progressive tax. You can go back to after the Second World War, when we were taxing at the highest marginal rate of up to 90%, with tax credits for expenditures on the economy and investing in the economy.
$9 billion a day is what we're spending just to function the interest on the debt. And I like to believe that we could just tax the rich and tax our way out of it, but if we taxed every single billionaire in this country, we would fund the government for less than a few months. And it would be gone, and there'd be no new wealth created by their economic activity. We cannot tax ourselves out of the problem. We have to cut spending. And how do we pay down the debt? You don't do it by taxing regular individuals either. What do you do when you're in debt? You have to sell some of your assets to pay for that. We have lots of federal land that we can start to gradually sell off and index to only pay down the debt, not to pay for other programs. And we don't need to be adding more social programs to the cost every year on our budget.
America became the wonder of the world economically because from the 1600s to the 1913, with the introduction of the direct taxation, we averaged 1 to 2% total taxation. 1 to 2%, with the exception of right after the Civil War, there was a 10% tax to retire the war debt. We were the economic wonder of the world. If the government would limit itself to constitutional spending, in other words, here's what the government is allowed to do. Oh, we need money for roads, we need money for the post office, we need money for military. Okay, but most government programs and most government expenditures are not constitutional. So we have to get rid of them. And God Almighty, who made heaven and earth, only wants 10% from everyone. So Jill Stein's idea and the Green Party's idea that we're going to tax the wealthy at 76 and 80, 90%, that's tyranny. That's Marxism. It is evil. It is theft. And it is unrighteous.
I agree that we do need to cut some spending, and that should be on corporate welfare and on the military budget, which are robbing us blind. Studies have shown that much of the inflation in the last several years was actually greedflation. It was needless increases in costs in order to contribute to the profits of corporations. We're looking at a massively inflated military budget right now, which is largely accruing to the profits of the war contractors, and the same thing with fossil fuels. Those prices have massively escalated, and the profits of those companies have actually doubled.
Corporations are greedy, but it's not just greedy corporations that cause the inflation we're facing. Greedy corporations were greedy in the past. They're going to be greedy in the future. They're driven by the almighty dollar. What's driving inflation right now is the fact that we print trillions of dollars out of thin air and deficit spending. It creates the inflation that we're all feeling. It creates the pinch you're feeling when you go to the grocery store. Yes, corporations are greedy. This is why we need to get rid of corporate welfare like Jill said, but get rid of all subsidies, all carve-outs, all deductions, and flatten the tax code so more people can enter the market as emerging entrepreneurs. So they don't have to be employed by the man. They can become their own boss. They can start their own business and create their own economic activity. This would bring about a huge amount of jobs in this country through the free market, but we have to reduce spending. Deficit spending is the primary driver of inflation, and we cannot tax our way out of it. Taxation is theft, and we cannot let the government steal out of our pockets to pay down the debt that they've created for themselves through unconstitutional actions.